Good morning and welcome to Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television. I am Kende Bodun.
And I am Henry Ikwebike.
It's the start of a new day and we are so glad to have you on the show today. We will kick off with today's newspaper review before diving into our main conversation of the day. Trust me, you don't want to miss a moment with us. You can join the conversation by dropping your comments, liking and following us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. Joining us to share the matters at hand is Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. He is a barrister and public affairs analyst.
Good morning to you, Barrister.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so
You're
very
always
much,
welcome, sir.
Barrister. All right, so let's start our dailies today with the
Vanguard newspaper.
The Vanguard newspaper. All right,
Yes.
so what do we have there?
So the big story here, we have Trump, diplomatic engagement yielding results.
That's
federal government.
the federal government says.
federal
And
government.
below that we have approved duty-free importation for aircraft spare parts, and that's coming from Keamu.
Interesting. We also have all set for editors conference in Abuja today.
And also, Sanwo-Olu has said that no governor can complain of poor funding under Tinubu.
Wike soldiers biker over alleged and grabbing in Abuja.
And also, Anambra poll, Soludo deputy receives certificate of return from INEC.
Okay, we also have Tinubu's reforms winning North.
Okay, so let's get to our talking point for today and talk about what's happening in Abuja, especially the bickering. Wike soldiers bicker over alleged land grabbing in Abuja. Barrister, I'd love us to talk on that. It's a viral story. It's all over social media, and lots of people were for the military officer and against Nyesom Wike. But what's your take as a lawyer, as a barrister, especially regarding what your colleague Nyesom Wike has insinuated, that land wasn't properly documented and therefore he would not permit for building on that particular property?
Now let me start from where you stop. If a land is not properly documented and the minister is of the opinion that it's not properly documented, he has a right not to allow them to develop on the land. But it will not be at his whim and caprices. There are processes and procedures which he must follow for him to do that. So it will not be on his own term that will just come on the land and say, stop, you have no paper. No, that is not the procedure. And what you saw yesterday was because of trying to, in quote, enforce illegality by means of illegality. So you cannot enforce what you perceive as illegal by using the illegal means of doing that. Once you fail to follow due process of law, in enforcing a law, you are also engaging in illegality. So if they granted the minister by our law, just like a governor of a state, is the one vested with the authority to control and manage the lands in Abuja. But that control, amendment of the land in Abuja, does not give the minister the power to just enter anybody's land at any time, at any period we like, and the way and manner he likes. There are processes. If you believe that somebody has not done the right thing, or is not occupying the land, is occupying the land illegally, you want to take over the land from him, what you do is to give him notice to that effect. Write him and let him come and defend that allegation. If the allegation is not genuine to you, and there are grants for you to take over the land, you can issue notices, require notices to revoke the land. These notices must be served, not that you just give notice today and you say tomorrow you have to leave. No, you must give them enough notice, reasonable notice in law. And when that notices are given, and then you want to revoke, you revoke and I'm coming. Let me just.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Let me round up so that I will conclude, so that you will not. You see, when you revoke, and by doing, when you revoke, you do a participant and gazette it. It is not within your power, and if you now gazette and you now realize that you have revoked the land, and you realize that people are still on the land, and you want to take over possession, it is not for you to go there on your own and say, we have revoked the land, we are taking it over. No, you must go to court and obtain an order. Without an order of court, you cannot enter anybody's land the way you like. That is what I want to show. So what happened yesterday was because due process of law was not followed by the minister, and that's what you see.
Okay, so let's evaluate statutory compliance. Does this situation involve breaches of property or security laws?
What do you mean by, what do you say?
Like, what I'm trying to say, does this situation involve breaches of property or security laws?
Not I have said, what I've said is that the processes of recovering land has not been followed, and that is a breach of the law regarding that. Maybe you are going to the argument of the fact that, look, people are saying, why will a military officer be guiding a property? Why will an officer be on the land illegally? Yes, let's even grant it that they were there illegally. Let's grant it that the officer the military has no role to defend property. Were they there to defend the property, or were they assigned to their organ? They are protecting the former chief of naval staff, who was told is the owner. They were protecting him. As a retired military officer, senior military officer, you are entitled to details. Certain military number of military officers who will be with you. Probably those are the people with him. And whenever he's having an issue, they have the right to protect him. So they are there to protect him. If the property had been done by the minister, this confrontation would not have happened. You see, okay, the insecurity that you can see here is that, thank God, that military officer was so calm. Yes. It's not like some people who don't have hope. If we have seen a accidental discharge yesterday and something has happened, what we're discussing today is what we'll be discussing. Or if one of them has the trigger and fire and other people responded, do you know what will happen there yesterday? They will probably be counting a dead body now. God forbid. So it is not proper for us to take laws to our hand when we say we are trying to enforce the law. The minister, as far as I'm concerned, is even ridicule and embarrass his position as minister. He embarrassed the country. He embarrassed the president. The minister has no business in confronting anybody. Even a little me should not put myself in that position to the extent that I will be shouting on ourselves publicly, calling an officer of a military officer a fool, calling him bad names. That is not normal for a minister. That is below. That is below. If that guy will that's probably by calling him a fool too, what will happen? Probably somebody will slap the man, and then there will have the crisis. So I think the minister should behave like a minister, should grow up and act maturely like a minister. As a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you cannot behave like Archbishop and the banditries, in due respect. The minister should hold himself in candor, should work with dignity, and should not be involved in rancor of such nature. There are processes. You can even put a call across without even coming to that place. That my guys were at a particular place and they were told that you are the one that said that we should not allow us. That is not proper. That's against the law. They can resolve it with themselves, and the man can even put a call across to his boy and say, "Please leave the place." Yeah. We won't hear any of this because we are people. Especially the minister is given to impunity, doing things at his own will and caprices, thinking everybody will bow down whenever he's trying to do anything. I'm not aware of any law which gives anybody the power, whether a minister or governor, even the president, to demolish or take over anybody's land without a court order. If we have a system that is working, that is not possible. Even the president has no power to do such. There must be a court order. If you cannot obtain the Ankara court order in court, there must be a court order that you rely on. It's not just on your own thinking. You cannot be an accuser, a judge, and a executor. That's not how our system works. You allege somebody of not having a paper. You are the one concluding that he does not have a paper. You are the one judging the case. You are the one executing it. Is that the system? There's no fair hearing in that. And that's contrary to our constitution. So for me, we should learn to obey law and act in line with the law. If we are acting in line with the law, we will not experience this kind of embarrassing situation.
Very true, Barrister. And one would wonder why the fracas still exists within the ranks and file of the PDP, because what someone behaves like is equal to what you would think he would do if given another opportunity. And it's actually not a very good thing, and I hope that the president would see to it if he has the spine to see to it. And we have other growing matters, Barrister. Let's talk about no governor can complain or pour funding under Tinubu, and that's coming from his godson, Sanwo-Olu. What's your take on this, Barrister?
Poor funding, funding from who?
From the president. That no governor in Nigeria can complain of poor funding under Tinubu. And that's coming from his godson, Sanwo-Olu.
I have a query. I'm concerned about that adjective. They presented it as if the president is using his personal money to fund the state. It's not the president's money, it's our money. So that particular adjective, or the way I managed that headline was captured, I have an issue with it. So the complaint from the or maybe probably that was what the governor said, looking at it as if the money is from the president's pocket. It's our money, and there's entitlement to all states to have their allocation. So if the country is getting more money, the state should get more money. But is it true that they are getting more money? Yeah, I would say they are getting more money in figure. They are getting, if you look at the figure compared to the figure they have been getting before now, you will say they are getting more money. Can we really call that a more money or big money? For me, the answer is no, because the value of that money they call big money today or more money today, it cannot do what little money of 3 years ago would do. And that is why you see some of the governors not be able to meet their targets or not be able to do much. I'm not giving excuses to them, but that's one of the reasons why they are not doing much, even though they don't want to do anything before. So I agree that they are getting more money from the state allocation, from the federal allocation, but the money they are getting, what is the value compared to what they are getting 2 years ago? Because if you look at 10 million naira of 3 years ago, which were other million naira of today, I tell you, say the 10 million naira is equal to, or almost equal to that 100 million naira. Because a car, if, for example, now let's just go, if a governor is to buy a car 3 years ago, a car 3 or 4 years ago, that car may likely go for 10 million naira. That same car today may be 70 or 80 or 100 million naira or more. So is that enough? Is that more money? So a money that can be used to buy like 10 cars 3 years ago can only buy 1 or 2 this year. So what are we talking about? So we can be deceiving ourselves if we are looking at the figure, that the figure is now high. But let's also look at the value of the figure that we're looking at and see whether or not that figure will do more than what that little figure a few years ago are doing. That's my response.
Okay, so now, Barrister, are there risks of political tension among governors?
Risk of political tension? How? With political tension? How? Like what we call the tension? Is it for them to come? They are all planning their games, and they are all moving to where they think they will be covered. And that's why you see some of the governors in the PDP and other parties are trying to move to APC, believing that being a member of APC guarantee your success or political success. So if there's going to be any political, what do you call it again?
Political tensions. Political tensions.
The political tensions.
Yeah.
During the election that must be taken in our land, when there's political elective election is coming, you see people doing one thing or the other that will create tension. So that's not new in our system, where you see people trying to, and that's what you see in PDP now. When you see these different camps and different orders from different courts, that is the tension you are talking about. That's political tension towards the next 2027 election. So it should be expected. It is normal in our own system.
All right, Barrister, let's look at the Daily Trust newspaper, straight on to the big story. No going back on convention, and that's coming from PDP. Speak to us. What's happening currently with the PDP? We learned that another court in Abuja had nullified what the court in Oyo had made possible. Help us make sense of all of these proceedings, especially now that it is rested on the table of our courts.
The court in Abuja did not nullify what the judgment at the order in Oyo. He gave his own order So they are not the same case. If they are, you can just always say it nullify it when if it's the same case they have been taken to Abuja. So this is a different case in Abuja, and they have given a different decision. They have given an order different from what has been given in Oyo. So I will not align. I'm not align with that adjective of nullifying the order in Oyo State. No, there's no nullification here. He only gave a different order. You know, we are shopping for orders differently now in Nigeria. As it is today now, we have 3 different orders. We have one obtained weeks ago by Ayan Wanko. We have another one obtained in Ibadan. And we have another one yesterday by, what's it called? Alhaji Sule Lamido. And I'm telling you, probably today, there will be another order from Ibadan. So what you are seeing is people showing their capacity, showing their power. And that is the basis of the fight, or the cross of the fight, or disagreement in PDP. Control of the soul of the party. People want to control it, not because they love the country, not because they love the party, but because that will put them in a position to negotiate for their own personal gain. There's a minister who's currently, and who has openly declared that his support is for the current president. So, and what is he selling to the current president? The membership of the PDP and the way and manner and what is carrying out in PDP. So, if the PDP is settled today, that business is gone. It may not be relevant to the APC government because there is nothing to buy from him again. Those other sides are trying to see how they can also be in control, so that they will also be able to negotiate and get whatever they want to get, probably from the current government or from other places. But I'm telling you, it is not for the interest. They are not the fight. It's not because of the interest of the party. It's because of the personal gain and power of the control of the party for their own personal benefits. So you see, I will not blame the court here. Only that the court is being allowed. The only blame I will give the court is that they are allowing themselves to be used by the politicians, because a situation whereby an ex parte order has been granted, when a court is aware that a similar order has been granted differently from another court, a court of coordinate jurisdiction, it does not go well.
So who is to check, Barrister? Who is to check? Who is to check all of this confusion? Because this arm fight between different courts of competent jurisdictions, I do not know. You read law. You're a lawyer. Is it normal? Is that what is taught in law school? Who checks that all of this confusion would stop? Because this is not what we should see in a civilized society.
We have NGC who to checkmate or control, supervise the activities of the judges and discipline them where necessary. But what we see in our system, we have a system that is not working. We have a system that the people in authority will sit down and fold their hands and say, look, we have not been informed. They are aware, they are seeing it, but they'll be waiting for an official letter or official communication before they do anything. Rather than take steps to prevent more damage, they will just fold their hands and wait. And even when that is given to them, because of their sentiment and bias, in quotes, they may not do much. So the point is that people who are doing this wrong act are not being punished or adequately punished. If the judge has been punished for doing the wrong thing in the past, I'm not saying judges have not been punished, but it's not adequate, it's not enough, and it's not constant, it's not prompt. When you have prompt a response to illegality or to wrongdoing, and people are being adequately punished, other people will be wary to go into it again. But because those who have done it in the past have gone away with it, and some of them sometimes, even if they want to punish them, they will give them a soft landing by saying they are sending them on retirement, and thereafter will not be charged to any court, or they will not even be asked to drop anything. So that is the situation we have here. We have a system that is not working, and that's what you are seeing here. The convention will go ahead because those who are bent on doing the convention have their mindsets made up. No matter what order that you bring, they are ready to go on, and they made up my mind that we are going on. But my worry is that the going on is not an issue for me. The likely outcome or consequences thereafter is a problem. I bearing in mind that I am aware of what happened in Plateau State. I'm aware of what happened in River State. I'm aware of what happened in Zamfara State, wherein the court has given an order, and they went ahead, contrary to the order of the court, to continue what they were doing. And after the election, but the court overturned everything and take it away from them. So I just owe those who are bent of going ahead with the convention will think that consequences before moving ahead and say, because everybody is showing power. There's no way they will not go ahead, because they're not going ahead will mean that they will believe that somebody has won. And so for them to say that, look, you have not won, we must do our confession, whether rightly or wrongly.
Very well said. Of course, let's just see how that works. Yes.
There may likely be another court judgment today from Oyo, because that Oyo case where another was giving expertise, I think is coming up today for hearing. And I will not expect anything less than the court confirming that they should go ahead and continue their convention, because you cannot take yourself to court and get different results. Yeah. The person who took the matter to court sued those who are interested in continuing with the convention. So what would they say anything different? Damagu Damagu, the chairman, is in support of going ahead with the convention. The Fintiri is the chairman of the convention committee or whatever, is in support of going ahead with convention. And these are the people that were sued, that were taken to court in Ibadan. So do you expect anything different from getting the right results in that court? So probably today you will hear another good news or good order asking them to go ahead with their convention as scheduled.
All right, that's well
I'm putting
said.
my hand.
Yes, very well said. Of course, it's a developing story. We will bring that to you right here on Enterprise Television as it unfolds. Barrister will still be here to take us on our main conversation. That is when we return. Federal government says a dialogue with U.S. is helping to ease tensions and build understanding. In a bit, still Enterprise Morning. Don't go anywhere.
We'll be right back.